Are you having trouble learning Splashyard? Well, I got you. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to improve with this deck. Now, there's one reason most players struggle to play Splashyard. It's defense. Splashyard is a control deck, meaning it's a very defensive deck. So knowing how to defend properly is the way to master it. Attacking with Splashyard is pretty easy. Have a counter push, go for a graveyard, and use a poison if you need. But defending, on the other hand, is a little bit trickier. So here are 8 main things to know about defending. First is to know what cards to use and identify counters. There are so many interactions with each card in Splashyard. You won't have to know all of these, but knowing which cards counter others is super important for defending. For example, let's say your opponent places a Mega Knight at the bridge. We can use a Knight placed in this spot in the middle to fully counter it without using supports. If your opponent has Graveyard, you might want to save your poison to defend it, unless you're certain that you can defend it properly without it. Against groups, use your Baby Dragon, Bar Barrel, and Ice Wizard. If those are not options, you might need to use a poison. Against tanks, use the Tombstone to distract or lure the troops to the middle, where other troops like your Ice Wizard and Baby Dragon can continue to damage them down. Against air troops, use cards that can hit air, but if they're not in cycle, you can always use troops like your Knight or your Bar Barrel to tank. The Bar Barrel can also counter many cards alone, such as the Witch, Valkyrie, and the Knight, so use it properly. The next thing to know is to know different combos. Splashyard has a handful of combos that are very effective for defending. Ice Wizard plus Tornado is great for defending large pushes. The Ice Wizard slows everything while the Tornado brings them together. Next is Baby Dragon plus Tornado. Similar concept, but the Baby Dragon does the work this time. The Ice Wizard plus Tombstone is also a great combo. The Ice Wizard slows down troops' attack speed and movement speed, allowing for Tombstone skeletons to constantly distract. Third, it's the save your building. Always have your building in cycle or have it on the field to stop your opponent's win conditions, and always make sure you can have it back in cycle to stop a big push. Also, know the Tombstone placement so that you can get the most optimal placement against different matchups. Against Royal Giant, you want your Tombstone placed like this. Against Goblin Giant, you want to place your Tombstone here. Against Electro Giant, you want it here, but the reason I don't recommend placing anywhere in this area is because it can easily get sniped by a Bar Barrel or a Mother Witch. Against Golem, you want your Tombstone here. Against Ram Rider, you can have your building here, or here like this. Against Hog Rider, you want to have your Tombstone placed in the middle but on the opposite side for a nice full counter. And against Balloon, you want to have your Tombstone in the middle, but unlike the Hog Rider, you want to have it on your side. So that way it will pull the balloon even if they drop it behind the chains. Out of the examples I showed you, the Tombstone placement against the Hog Rider is the only one that will counter the troop without the need of any other support troops. Against all the other examples, you will need support troops to fully counter. The fourth tip to defending is to cycle back to cards you need. If your opponent is playing Lumberloon, for example, make sure you can always cycle back to your Ice Wizard and Baby Dragon to stop the balloon. Against Hog Rider, always make sure you can have either one of the Tombstone or Tornado to stop it. And against Bridge Spam, make sure you can get back to your building fast to stop Ram Riders and Battle Rams. The fifth defending tip is to fix mistakes with Tornado. If you ever make mistakes, like a balloon going toward your tower and not your building, you have a backup plan, the Tornado. For 3 Elixir, you can fix your mistake and reposition your opponent's cards to get the interaction you wanted, so use it wisely. Number 6 is poison usage. Use the poison on your opponent's cards like Firecracker in the back, Furnace, or Musketeer to kill them before they can help your opponent's push. If you need to use it on your side of the arena, let's say your opponent has a lot of troops grouped up, that also works too. Number 7 is the Bar Barrel Snipe. Use the Bar Barrel to snipe Dart Goblins, Firecrackers, Archers, Magic Archers, and Mother Witches, or anything else that has pretty low health. Other than tanking for your graveyard, this is something else the Bar Barrel is good at. And lastly, number 8, how to defend big pushes. This is probably what you wanted to see the most in this video, so here is how to defend really large pushes. Okay, so first our opponent has a golem coming toward us, so I set up an ice wizard off to the side, a baby dragon in the middle, and while my knight distracts the other troops, the golem gets taken down. And then afterward, I tornado everything back and bar barrel right away to kill my opponent's spam. And even after my opponent uses vines, we barely take any damage and get a clean defense. My opponent makes another golem push again in double elixir with more units. But I already have a Tombstone, Ice Wizard, Knight, and Bar Barrel already down, which I had placed in the back to get ready for this. I poison everything, then tornado back to push, and use a Bar Barrel followed by a Knight with an Ice Wizard to fully defend everything and take almost no damage. Alright, next we're defending Goblin Giant P.E.K.K.A. So here I used an Ice Wizard, Tombstone, and Baby Dragon to damage down the Goblin Giant. After it died, I used a Bar Barrel and a Knight to defend the P.E.K.K.A, although the Bar Barrel was kind of unnecessary. In double elixir, my opponent creates a huge push with the big 3 troops in their deck, so I prepare defenses in the back and wait for the push to come toward me. I place another Tombstone really low, and then I poison their entire push while placing an Ice Wizard pretty far onto the other side but still in the middle to damage and slow everything down. This really nice tornado comes down with the Evo Knight, which cleans up everything, giving us a very nice defense with almost no damage taken. Later I won the game because I went for a graveyard when my opponent was trying to build a big push, and thankfully they had vines instead of the goblin curse, so they couldn't defend my graveyard. Okay, against Mega Knight Prince, I basically just put down my Tombstone, my Ice Wizard, and Baby Dragon, and then I put a Knight down afterward. And here I went for poison onto the Archer Queen and the Bandit, and then I went for another Ice Wizard, and then a Baby Dragon to kill the Archer Queen. Okay, here, same thing, I went for a poison on the Archer Queen, and then I used the Bar Barrel, and my Ice Wizard just cleaned everything up. Okay, next is against Lava Hound, and my opponent goes for a balloon with the Skeleton Dragon, so I stop it with an Ice Wizard and Evo Baby Dragon, and then afterward I place down a Tombstone to fully defend everything. Later my opponent uses a Lava Hound to tank for their troops, but if you ever see something like this, just use your poison, and defending it should be pretty easy. Just get your Ice Wizard and your Baby Dragon down, and nothing should get any damage. And again here, pretty similar thing, just go for a poison, and especially against Lava Hound, poison is going to be really effective. So later on, my opponent finally goes for a balloon with their Lava Hound, and then I basically just pull the balloon with the Tombstone in the middle. I poison the dragons, and I tornado the balloon toward my King Tower to activate it. Okay, so against this push, I cycle my Tombstone early because I need to get back to it. I have an Ice Wizard down, but my opponent fireballs that. I put down my Baby Dragon, and then afterward, my opponent places another balloon, so I have to group everything up with a tornado. I immediately place down another Tombstone, and then I go for a Ice Wizard, Baby Dragon, and then a Knight to tank for everything. Okay, against Royal Giant, I had my Tombstone down, and I first used my Baby Dragon, so I had the Evo ready for his Royal Giant. And here, it doesn't really matter where I place my Ice Wizard because I had Tornado and Cycle, so I could just Tornado back the Royal Giant if I needed to. Okay, this one was a pretty generic defense, and thankfully the monk does get kited back, and I do end up misplacing my Tombstone. Like, I placed it a little bit late, but it's pretty fine. I mean, we're not going to lose the game from this. And here I just end up tornadoing the Royal Giant back. Against Royal Giant, having the tornado to just tornado the Royal Giant back as soon as your Tombstone gets destroyed is really helpful. Okay, against this last push, I actually have a Tombstone in the back to just keep spawning skeletons. This is triple elixir, so that won't really cost me anything. And especially since Splashyard has so much splash damage, if it hits triple elixir, you have poison, you have baby dragon, you have tornado, you have ice wizard, it's going to be nearly impossible to break through your defense. So if it becomes triple elixir, you're almost guaranteed to win, especially if it's against a deck like Royal Giant where the main win condition is really slow and needs other supporting troops behind it. Alright, so that was the ultimate guide to defending with Splashyard. I hope this video helps you defend better and make better progress using this deck. If you have any questions, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.